Functions in Python. Function is a collection of statements which are pre-written to perform a certain task. So this will be a list of statements which we will be executing whenever we call the functions. How the functions are helpful? They will be helpful to maximize code reuse, and they will also be useful for the procedural decomposition. Let's understand one by one. So if there are some tasks which are a very repetitive task, we can create function for those tasks and we can call the function itself in the particular code. That way the same function can be used by many times and it will help us to reuse. The second thing is that the procedural decompositions. Let's consider you have a code of 1,000 statements. Now it's very difficult to understand what is happening inside each and every line, or it's very difficult to understand the code. But let's suppose we replace some state of functions or some task with a function name and we call those functions inside. It will be very easy to understand what the code is going to do, what is happening inside the code. So this is the way how it will help to procedural decompositions. Now let's understand how we can define the functions and how we can call them. Yeah, so to define the functions we use def keyword, and we will be providing a function name with this def keyword function name, and we will be passing list of arguments of variables which we want to use inside. So inside that we will be having block of statements and a return value. And to call this function we'll be using function name, and if the function needs some values or list of arguments, that will be passed inside parentheses. If there are no arguments, empty parentheses will be used to call the function name. Now let's understand this by using PyCharm. So here we will be creating one small function to get the username and print it into the screen. So I'll be using a def keyword, then I will print function name. Let's have a function name as a person details. So whenever we are using a function, we will be have to be very careful about this indentations. Now inside the person name I'm gonna put print statement, print with a word welcome, and this function I'll be calling from my main code. So how we can do is just we have to call this function name. Since I am not passing any of the variables inside, you can just provide empty parentheses. Let's run this code. You can see here what the output we are getting is the welcome screen. Now let's understand if you want to take the username and print the welcome statement for that username. So here I'll be having user is equal to input, and inside I will take enter your name. Okay, so once the user provides the name, we have to just combine it with the welcome message. So I'll be putting welcome user. Now let's run this code. It is asking me to provide the username. If I pass Monica, we can see it's giving message that welcome Monica. So this is the use of function. So wherever you use this function percent details function, it will just replace this code with whatever executing statements we have, and it will call that statement. Now right now what we are doing is we are just calling an empty functions, but instead of taking the username inside the function, what if I pass this username from my main code? So all I need to do is here I'll be taking the username. I'll be passing this user variable inside this function. Okay. Now since I'm passing this user here, I'll pass this user here as well. So here whatever value I'm going to pass, it will go to this function and it will execute this statement. This is called passing an argument to the function. Let me run this code. Now we can see that the same program is here. It is asking me to provide my name, and we can see the message welcome Monica. Now if you see, right now we are calling this statement for only one. If we have 100 users, we can use the same command to print all name for the all 100 users. So is it that we can use pass only one argument? No, we can pass many n number of arguments. So how we can do? I can pass here name and age. Let's say I'm giving age here. I'll just pass some random value right now. Instead of taking it from user, I'm passing age as a 12 directly, and we will run this code. Age equals to, I'll pass this age. Okay, let me run this code. I'll put my name. Okay, what error can only concatenate. Okay, we are passing age as a integer here. That's the reason we got error. So we can just use f and inside f string we can pass our string. This will work as expected. Now age equals to, let's run this code again. We can pass the name here, and we can see that now it's getting printed welcome Monica with the age value. So this is how we can provide multiple arguments inside the function, and we'll call it here. Now suppose I have some request where I need to return this age back to the user. So what I can do is return age. If I pass this return age, what does that means? Whenever I'm gonna call this function, it is going to return this value back to me. So here I can age equals to, here I have created one variable as a new age, and it will take the value from this particular function. So this function will execute things and it will return the statement. So if I run this, and here I will print new age. Now let's do some operations so that we'll understand what the, so whatever age I am having, I will just change it by 12 more. Let's run this code. Okay, so if I'm passing 12, it is adding some values here, and it is returning new age, which is the 24, and we can print that here. So if you have anything to return, you can use this statement with the return keyword. Now suppose I have a use case that I'm gonna create my function, but right now I'm not sure, I'm not sure what kind of operations I need to perform. So I can just define the function and just this statements what is the use of that functions. If I want to do it in future, all I can do is I can replace that with the pass keyword. If you use the pass keyword, this function will just pass those. Let me run this and we can see it. Since we are not doing any operations here, it is returning none value here. Okay, so this is a use of a pass keyword. Now let's understand. Let's create one more thing here. So I'm having user in age, which I'm passing here. Suppose I'm not sure how many details the user is going to provide. Let's say that I'm taking email as well from the user. Now I'm taking this email address as well from the user, and I'm passing it here to print it. Now let's understand what is the difference between normal variables and keyword variables, or how we can pass this keyword variables or keyword arguments. I am passing user and age here to this person details, and I'm gonna print it here. Print user plus, I'm gonna print this user, and let's do the same to print the age. Sorry. Okay, so here I'm gonna print username and age. Inside this we are using f string because age is a integer value, so it may fail. So here I'm gonna pass it as a username and age. I'll print it here. Now if I run it this way, now you can see that it prints username and age here. Suppose I want to pass this with user equals to username and age equals to age. So here what I am doing is, for this value, for this argument user, I am passing the keyword and this is the my value. This way we are telling that for this particular user value pass this user, and for this age value pass this. This way we don't need to understand what is the sequence of the variables whichever we are passing. Here you don't need to pass user first and age second. You can replace it with the age first, and let's replace. First we'll pass age and then we'll pass user. We don't need to care what in what sequence these values are going. Let's run this code and see. See here, we got the same result because when we are passing keyword and values, we don't need to worry about the sequence. If we are not passing these values at that time, yes, we need to worry about the values. See here, I'm not passing now keyword, so this means whatever value I have set for the age is going to be given to user, and whatever value I have for the user is going to set for the age variable, which will fail. Correct. See now here why this statement is getting failed, because for the user it is assigning this age value, and since the age is an integer, my code is getting failed with this error. Okay, so here it is a one of the important thing. If you are considering as the sequence is important, then you have to make sure. If sequence is not important, that time you can pass keyword and value. That way it will go and assign to that particular keyword itself, so we don't need to worry about what is sequence of my values here. Okay, now suppose in the same function I want to pass country as well. Okay, so the default country is India. Here I am passing country as an India. Now say, let's say we have a country as well. Okay, and we'll print that country here. Okay, you understood till now, right? So we are passing here country plus, I'll pass this country as an variable. We don't need f string here because it is just a string. Now understand here, if user is passing age, user and country, and let's run this code. Now, I'll pass my name. Okay, okay, what is it? Can only concatenate, not string. Oh, okay, I did not replace my old things here. 1 second. User comma age comma. Let's run. Okay, now we can see that the username is Monica, age is 12, country is India. Now let's understand, instead of that, if user doesn't want to provide a country and that time we want it to be get defaulted to US. Let's say we want it to be get defaulted as an US. So what we can do is, inside, while passing this, creating, defining person details, we are passing one default value to the country. In case if user don't provide value, it should print an US. Now let's run this code. Here we are already passing value to the country as an India. Now my country, it is showing as an India. Let's say I don't want to pass country, so this is user and age. It will go and take the default value. Now let me run this code. Yes. Now here you can see here country we are assigning US. So this is the how the use of the default values works inside the functions. The next thing which we are Now let's understand how this recursion will work. Recursion is nothing but function calling within a function. So if you see here, I have defined a function which is called a percent detail. So inside percent detail, I am calling percent details. So whenever percent details gets executed, it will call within themselves. So we have to stop it. Like it will be a recursive call, and it will stop only when if we are putting user is equal to end. So how it is happening is, first I will be passing username, all these details, and it will call this percent details code. Now inside percent details, it will check whether the user is equal to end. No, I'm passing some value. It will come here and it will execute the statements, and it is again going to call the same function. It will, but at this time the user value is end, so it will come to the same function and it will check user is equal to end. If that, since that is true, it is, my cursor is going to be get returned to my main code. So let's run this code and understand the same. I'm passing here. Now you can see this. So for the first time it got executed. Again this person details is getting called where my user value is end. So it is calling this function and it is returning it, the main code.